It's your boy, yadiiiigg, 4 eyes, 2 G's, and before we get into the video for today guys, please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow your boy in all social medias for more. But on to today's topic, and I'm back with my second video on remembering XXXTENTACION, a little series I'm doing covering multiple aspects of the late artist's career. First off, I would like to give my condolences to his family. It's a tragedy that he died this young and in this way. May he rest in peace. In this video today, I'm going to be given a rough timeline of X's career. I'm not going to be touching on everything or turning over every stone, but I'm going to be focusing on and adding context to pivotal moments of his music career. And let's kick this off with how it all started. Sometime around 2013, X started his musical journey, releasing tracks that are now deleted onto his SoundCloud. Since these songs are lost and mostly unknown, we will go to his first song that is still up on his page. But before we do, it is important to mention that around this time, whilst in juvenile detention, he would meet and hit it off with Ski Master Slump God, who he would become very close with and later on go on to form the rap group Members Only with. But back to the first track that is still up on his SoundCloud, which is Vice City, and this track was released in March of 2014. He would then go on to release 2 tapes throughout the remainder of 2014, Ice Hotel in the fall. His musical style around this time was much more tame than the distorted screaming sound he would become infamous for, ranging from boom bap to cloud rap inspired production. And moving on to 2015, in April and October, along with his group Members Only, he would release Members Only Volume 1 and Number 2, and these tapes had a diverse palette sonically, helping to introduce that distorted bass sound, but also touching other genres like boom bap and cloud rap. Following this, on December 31, 2015, he would release his breakout song Look At Me, and although popular amongst his fans, it would still be quite some time before we saw the song explode. Moving on to 2016, in March he released It Wasn't Enough, a short project of his with only 3 songs. And after this, his buzz in music was continuing to grow, and the extremities behind his lyrics, his sound, and the mystery surrounding him landed him a No Jumper interview in April of 2017. Currently sitting at over 6 million views, this interview has become a part of X's legacy, and the way that X discussed everything from his mental state, his music, to his rough upbringing so openly showed his fans that his musical identity wasn't fake at all, and the aggressive but still very tender personality that it portrayed in his art wasn't an act. The reality behind his words is such a large part of his success, and this interview helped to shed light into the truth behind his music. It has become a reference point for his fans, a staple of his career, and helped to connect and grow his cult fanbase. And not long after this, he would go on to release another short project titled Willy Wonka Was a Child Murderer. Then a few months later in August, he is arrested for charges of robbery and assault, however is released on house arrest. Then later in October, he is arrested again, this time facing charges of abusing a pregnant woman, false imprisonment, and witness tampering, and thus began his infamous time in prison and the start of the Free X movement by his fans. And drawing to the end of 2016, with his No Jumper interview exploding, the Free X movement helping to spread his name virally on social medias, and songs like Look At Me blowing up, X's buzz was skyrocketing, and this was around the time where you couldn't escape his name on the internet. It was everywhere, and he was beginning to break out of the underground, and events that took place in early 2017 would only propel him further. Within a month, he received co-signs from A$AP Rocky, Danny Brown, and Lil Uzi Vert, all of which added fuel to the Free X movement. Then we get to the 28th of January 2017, where Drake previewed a song now known as KMT and sent the internet into an uproar, with fans claiming he ripped off X's flow on Look At Me. The truth behind these claims doesn't really matter, but what does matter is a promo it provided X, with the internet debating back and forth endlessly whether Drake copied him, Uzi, or what have you. And as this drama included the biggest rapper in the world, it got publicized and talked about everywhere, helping to spread Look At Me and X's name to people who had never heard of him before. And only 2 and a bit weeks later, Look At Me would enter the Billboard chart at 95, going on to peak at number 34 and be certified platinum. Later on in Feb, Drake would go on to state that he had no idea about the X song when making KMT, and this led to a still incarcerated X firing off his first run of shots at Drake via Twitter, calling him a pussy N-word and saying his career was almost over. In late March, X was released on probation, and in his first interview since coming out, he came with some fiery words against Drake, calling him a bitch, then later on posting on Twitter that his mum is kinda cute and that she could get it. As I said earlier, this beef was highly publicized, providing X with huge promotion, and it was a factor in him continuing to blow up. Moving on, middle of the way through May, he would release a project titled Revenge, which was a compilation of previously released tracks from his SoundCloud. Importantly though, it placed them on streaming services and available for purchase, helping to focus his audience and give his new fans a taste of his most popular music, both new and old. In the following month, June, he would then be announced as the 10th XXL freshman pick for 2017, leading to viral moments such as his verse in the cypher, which got heavily memed, and the controversy via his shots at J. Cole in his freestyle. And later on in June, along with his members only group, he would release Members Only Volume 3. And pushing forward to August 25th, X would release his debut album 17, and although it wasn't received well critically, it was a huge commercial success, selling 87k first week and having multiple records go platinum. This was a pivotal moment in his career. Ditching the distorted, energetic, screaming sound that garnered him notoriety, X offered fans a much darker, somber, and depressing look into his psyche, and the emotion he put into his music is why he was so widely loved and praised by his young fanbase. And 17 helped to turn X into a figurehead for the younger generation, because nobody else on his level with his reach was releasing music like this, and the emotion and pain he was able to bleed through this project is what led to it connecting so strongly with his fans. And moving on, midway through September, he would release a Look at Me /Riot video mashup, sparking all kinds of controversies regarding its confronting content, where it depicted a young white kid getting hanged. And moving on to October, a trial for his charges was set to occur on the 5th, but was later postponed to December. Then on December 11th, X released a short EP titled A Ghetto Christmas Carol. And not long after this, in December, he was jailed again with multiple charges regarding witness tampering and harassment. He was then released on house arrest, however, which was then modified in March of 2018 by the judge to allow him to tour. And skipping forward a few months, he would then release his second album, on March 16, 2018. Unlike 17, this project wasn't a hit critically, but it did extremely well commercially, selling 131k first week and spawning what would be the biggest single of X's career, Sad, which was quite a depressing tune, focusing in on a torn relationship thematically. It peaked at number 7 on the Billboard charts and went on to go double platinum. This album helped to further solidify X as one of the leaders of the newer generation. It didn't necessarily turn his haters into fans, but those who came in liking his music for the most part connected with the record, and the success of Sad helped to grow X in the mainstream. And yet again, the emotional vulnerability of X really shined through on this record, and above all else, this is what resonated with fans worldwide. And this unfortunately leads us to June 18, where X was shot dead in his hometown Florida. And tragically so, that brings us to the end of X's career. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope everyone out there is dealing with this okay and is getting through their days alright. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow your boy on all social medias for more.